I met Ryan during freshman orientation. He was the kind of guy who could charm anyone, tall, good-looking, with a magnetic smile that made you want to be his friend. We clicked instantly. Both of us were business majors, shared a love of horror movies, and quickly became inseparable. For the first semester, everything seemed perfect. We went to parties, studied together, and even planned to room together sophomore year. But as time went on, I started to notice things about Ryan that didn't sit right. It started small. He had a knack for lying, often about trivial things. He'd tell people he grew up in a mansion, that his dad was some big-shot CEO. When I confronted him about it, he just laughed. "It's harmless," he said. "Everyone lies a little." But it wasn't harmless. One night, during a party, I caught him in the act of stealing someone's wallet. I confronted him again, and this time his reaction scared me. His face darkened, and his voice dropped. "You didn't see anything," he hissed. "Mind your own business." That night, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd seen a side of Ryan I was never meant to see. The next few weeks were tense. Ryan acted as if nothing had happened, but I started keeping my distance. He didn't like that. He'd show up uninvited to my dorm, accidentally bump into me on campus, and constantly text me, asking why I was avoiding him. One day, I came back to my room to find a note taped to my desk. It wasn't Ryan's handwriting, but I knew it was from him. It read, "You're not a good friend. Don't make me your enemy." I tried to brush it off, but I couldn't ignore the growing pit in my stomach. I told my roommate, James, about Ryan's behavior. James was skeptical at first, but agreed to keep an eye out. Things escalated quickly after that. One night, while I was walking back from the library, I noticed someone following me. I turned around, and there he was, Ryan, standing under a street lamp, just watching. I called out to him, but he didn't respond. Instead, he turned and disappeared into the shadows. The next morning, I found my dorm room door slightly ajar. Inside, everything looked normal at first, but then I noticed my laptop was gone. My textbooks were missing too. I reported the theft to campus security, but they couldn't do much without evidence. I knew it was Ryan. I decided to confront him once and for all. I found him sitting in the cafeteria, laughing with a group of people. He greeted me like nothing was wrong, but when I pulled him aside and accused him, his demeanor changed. "You think you're better than me?" he said, his voice cold and sharp. "You think you can just cut me off like that? You're nothing without me." I walked away, but I knew this wasn't over. That night, my phone started buzzing nonstop. Dozens of texts from unknown numbers, all saying the same thing: "Watch your back." My social media accounts were hacked, and embarrassing photos of me, ones I didn't even know existed, were posted for everyone to see. I barely slept that night. Over the next few days, I started noticing strange things. My car tires were slashed. My professors received emails from me, accusing them of unfair grading practices. I was called into the dean's office and warned about my behavior. I couldn't prove it, but I knew Ryan was behind it all. Desperate, I turned to James for help. He suggested we set up a trap to catch Ryan in the act. We installed a hidden camera in our dorm and waited. It didn't take long. That same night, around 2 a.m., the door creaked open. Ryan slipped inside, a sinister smile on his face. He rifled through my desk, stuffed some items into his backpack, and then, before leaving, scrawled something on the wall in permanent marker. "You can't get rid of me." We took the footage to campus security, and Ryan was expelled the following week. I thought it was over, but it wasn't. A few months later, after transferring to a new school, I received a package in the mail. There was no return address. Inside was a single photograph of me, taken from outside my new dorm window. Written on the back were the words, "See you soon." The photo haunted me. I moved to this new school for a fresh start, but Ryan had found me. I reported the package to campus security and even the local police, but without evidence of direct harm, they couldn't do much. I was on edge every day, checking over my shoulder, locking and relocking my doors, and barely sleeping. Weeks passed and nothing happened. I started to convince myself that the photo was just Ryan's final act of intimidation. Maybe he'd moved on. Maybe he was done with me. Then one night, I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing. It was a text from an unknown number. "Nice pajamas." My blood ran cold. I looked around my room, the faint glow of the streetlight outside casting shadows across the walls. My curtains were drawn, but the text felt too specific to ignore. Heart racing, I peeked through the blinds. No one was there. I called campus security, but when they arrived, they didn't find anything suspicious. They reassured me that it was probably just a prank, but I knew better. Over the next few days, the texts became more frequent. Missed you at the library. That coffee shop you like? Overrated. You look tired. Rough night. Whoever was sending these texts knew everything about me. My routines, my favorite spots, even what I wore. One evening, after another restless night, I decided to change my phone number and deactivate my social media accounts. It felt like cutting off a lifeline, but I needed to sever any connection Ryan might have to me. It worked for a while. The texts stopped, and life started to feel normal again. Until one night, as I was walking back to my dorm, I saw him. Ryan was standing across the street, partially hidden in the shadows. He didn't move or call out. He just stood there, staring at me. I froze, my body trembling. "Leave me alone," I shouted, my voice echoing through the empty street. Ryan tilted his head as if amused, and then walked away without a word. That night, I didn't sleep. Every creak, every rustle outside my window felt like a warning. Around 3 a.m., I heard it, a faint tapping on my dorm door. I grabbed a heavy book from my desk and approached the door cautiously. Through the peephole, I saw nothing, just an empty hallway. Then the tapping came again, louder this time. I swung the door open, ready to scream at whoever was tormenting me, but no one was there. Instead, I found another photo taped to the door. It was of me, sitting at my desk earlier that day, completely unaware. On the back, in the same jagged handwriting, were the words, "I'll always be watching." I moved again after that, this time to a city where no one knew me. I even changed my name, determined to disappear completely. For months, I lived in constant paranoia, but eventually, I started to feel safe again. Until last week, while cleaning my new apartment, I noticed something stuck in the vent above my bed. I climbed up to investigate and found a tiny camera, hidden so well I almost missed it. I ripped it out, my hands shaking. Attached to it was a note, scrawled in familiar handwriting. "You can't hide from me. I don't know how Ryan found me, or if he ever really left. But one thing is certain, he's still out there watching, waiting. And no matter where I go, I know he'll follow."